Moving on, question number 5, I think we're at now, is from Rebecca. Hi there, Rebecca. Thanks for being part of the amazing WiggyWam community and for submitting your question here. So Rebecca says, I'm in need of some help. I've been given an opportunity to buy a house with tenants in it, which I think is below market value. If I buy it, I would be a first-time landlord, and I'm already a homeowner, so wouldn't be a first-time buyer. At the price it's been offered, I could just about afford to pay cash for it, but should I do that or get a small mortgage? I know I need a survey doing and valuation, but what else do I need to do to make sure that I'm not buying a problem property? Okay there, Rebecca, thanks for that question. Quite a bit going on there. So it's great that you're looking at this potential investment opportunity, and you want to make sure that you're not buying something that's going to be a bit of a problem or that's going to create more issues and headaches for you once you've actually bought it. So a couple of things I'm going to draw your attention to in terms of this purchase or proposed purchase. First of all, it's the one thing I want you to be aware of is making an allowance for the fees that are involved in buying this sort of property. Okay, so first of all, you're going to be paying likely 3% stamp duty on this. You're then going to be paying for your solicitor's fees, which I would suggest you budget for at least £1,500 plus VAT on that. You're going to need things like your searches in place. Okay, I would definitely recommend you get a protect your pocket costs indemnity insurance in place. You can get that from us if you want to. It's a nominal cost, but it will underwrite all of your costs. So should the deal fall through, you'll get all those costs back. Okay, you may well have mortgage application fees to pay for, and survey fees, etc. All of this can start to add up. So you're probably going to have to budget around about 10 grand for all of your costs. That's in terms of just buying the property in the first place. Then you haven't mentioned this in your question, but then you need to look at, is there any work that needs to be done to bring this property up to standard? Now, if this property is being managed by a letting agent at the moment, then you can go and have a conversation with them to get a little bit of background about the tenants and about their performance in terms of being tenants, and more importantly, whether or not they've actually paid their rent on time every single month to the current landlords. Okay, because that can be a problem that you might inadvertently shall we say, sleepwalk into if you're buying this property on trust and you haven't done a little bit of background check on the current tenant. So it could be that this person is looking at flogging the property quickly because they've got nightmare tenants in it, and those tenants haven't paid any rent in the last 2 years, and they've run up, I don't know, huge electric bills or whatever, utility bills, and you now can't get them out of the property for whatever reason because there's a legal loophole that they're exploiting that's preventing you from getting them out of the property. I mean, that's like the disaster scenario, right? And in that sort of situation, you don't want to then buy that property for what you think is cheap to then end up in a situation where you are thousands of pounds into fees for going to court and trying to evict these tenants, right? So that's one of the things to be aware of, first of all. What I would suggest that you might want to do is, once you've had that conversation with the letting agent, if everything's okay as far as that's concerned, and you are that they're paying their rent on time, that's obviously a big comfort blanket as far as buying the property is concerned. And then when you go to get your survey and valuation done, the valuation will indicate whether or not the price that you're paying is less than the current market value, which hopefully it is, but we'll have to see. And then the survey aspect of it will indicate whether or not there's any work that needs to be done to it that you may not have been aware of when you've looked at the property, if indeed you have. All right, I would always recommend you go for a home buyer survey plus valuation on a property of this type, depending upon its age. If it's any older than probably about 100 years, I would then look at maybe a building survey plus valuation on the property as well, okay, just to protect yourself in case there's any major issues or hurdles that you need to have a look at. All right, so that would be those would be some of the things that I'd be looking at quite intensely. You also want to check when you're speaking to the letting agent and other letting agents in the area whether or not this is a desirable area for renting. And the reason we ask that question is because you've currently got tenants in it now, but is that property going to be in an area where tenants are going to want to rent again in the future? Because the last thing you want to do is buy a property, rent it out, and then find that you can't actually get tenants for it. And the worst I've heard in these sorts of scenarios is where somebody had a property empty for 2 years because they couldn't find tenants to go into it because it just wasn't an area that was popular with tenants. Okay. So those are the sort of things that I would be looking at from your point of view, and hopefully that's given you a little bit of insight. In terms of whether you should pay cash or get a small mortgage, obviously the amount of fees you're going to be spending may affect your calculations in terms of the amount of cash that you're going to put into this and the overall purchase price of the property. There may be some benefit for you to get a small mortgage or a bigger mortgage than you think, because if you like the idea of being of being a landlord, you might then look at buying a second or a third investment property, in which case it might be good to pull your cash out. Now, what you could do in this sort of situation, Rebecca, is if you bought it cash to begin with, you could then maybe do a remortgage in 6 to 12 months later once the relationship's settled with the tenant and you're happy. You could then do a remortgage or a refinance on that property, pull out some of your cash, and then use that for your next deposit for the next property that you're looking at buying. Okay, so a couple of things to think about there, Rebecca. Quite an exciting journey. Again, I did write a book on this, which is called The Safest Houses, which I think there's some copies floating about on the internet. So if you want to have a read of that and plug into that, I think that will help you in terms of the overall things that you want to be looking at as far as being a landlord is concerned. But I wish you all the best of luck with that. And if there's anything else that we can help you with, then please do let us know. All right, so good luck with that one, Rebecca. Thank you. All right, well, ladies and gentlemen, that's the end of today's webinar. Thank you so much indeed for joining us as always. We're here the same time, same place every week, doing this, answering your property questions as much as we possibly can in the time that we have available. So you can send your questions through to us via email, which is happytohelp@wiggywam.co.uk. That's happytohelp@wiggywam.co.uk. You can also go to our website, which is wiggywam.co.uk. That's wiggywam.co.uk. You can set up a free profile on WiggyWam. You can access an entire catalogue now of blogs, broadcast, news articles, all sorts of things that can help you with your moving journey, including an entire video training suite put together by myself that will guide you through the entire process of finding, viewing, offering on, and buying your next property. Okay, that's an incredible amount of value that we've crammed into that video training suite there. You can also send your questions to us via Twitter. Twitter handle is @WiggyWam_UK. So that's @WiggyWam_UK. And we'll look forward to answering your questions on a future webinar very soon. And if there's anything else that we can do to help or support you in your moving journey, please do let us know. We're here to help. We're here to serve. We're here to do our very best to look after you in your moving journey. And we'll look forward to seeing you on a future webinar very soon. All right, ladies and gentlemen, thanks for joining me today, and bye for now.